Welcome students, welcome to the first part of my video, topic number 6, beginning of freedom movement. Now my dear students, we have already witnessed in the previous topic that Indians got Western education. They thought of bringing a new society by keeping away superstitious ideas, by upgrading themselves socially, to keep aside all those traditions which could be challenged by the Westerners. And so there was awakening and there were social reforms where the things started changing. You could see that we were practicing child marriage. Practicing child marriage was stopped legally. Performing sati, even performing sati was stopped legally. And modern ideas were set in. Now, my dear students, in this lesson we will see that because of English education, the people in Indian society, in their hearts, the seed of nationalism was sown by the reform of newly educated society. Due to various movements in different parts of India, favorable situation was carried to build political organization on all India level, which will bring together various political organizations, different groups of politically aware people, and to express aspirations of the nation by diverting public attention towards the question of nation. Now, my dear students, as we all know that British had centralized administration. We all know that they wanted to bring India under one roof in true sense. So, due to identical reforms of all the country and equality before law, the feeling of nationalism developed among the people. For the convenience of administration, swift movement of army, British built network of roads and railways. But these facilities benefited not only to the Britishers but also to the Indians as well. People from different parts of India came in contact with each other, and there was increase in communication and feeling of nationalism grew up. My dear students, we all know that Britishers, their land revenue policy, their various reforms that has compelled our farmers to take up cash crop. Not only to take up cash crops, they have to pay taxes. And we also saw in the previous lesson, there was continuous famine. And the backbone of Indian agriculture was broke down. Traditional industries declined. There was rise of unemployment. The capitalists exploited the working class. Various new taxes were imposed on the middle class. This led to the discontent among the Indians. Now we will see due to Western education. Now due to Western education, new ideas were set in within the educated Indians. Now, let me tell you which are the new ideas. The new ideas were justice, liberty, equality, democracy. And Indians started thinking rationally. Scientific attitude, humanity, and nationalism, these principles were accepted by the Indians. Therefore, they inculcated a feeling that we are capable of carrying out work of our country and its progress. It is possible by following these principles which are being laid down by Western education, and also the introduction of English language. India got new medium of communication, English. Now with this, there were few educated Indians who took the benefit of it. One was the Asiatic Society was established in Bengal by the British. Many Indians, Western scholars, started learning about Indian culture. The manuscripts in Sanskrit, Persian and other language were examined and the research was published. There were two gentlemen, Bahudaji Lad and R.G. Bhandarkar. They did intensive study of ancient Indian culture, and then they came to know that our Indian culture has got glorious traditions, and these glorious traditions have to be brought out in the light of the people. So, what did he do? Especially R.G. Bhandarkar. Oriental Research Institute was made and it is still working for last 100 years in Pune. Their only work is to know more about Indian culture and to understand. The people who are involved in research, they get more and more information through these institutes. Now we will see what are the various contributions made by the newspapers. As we all know, during the time of the Britishers, English and vernacular newspapers and periodicals came to be published. Though these newspapers and political and social awakening took place. Newspapers like Darpan, Prabhakar, Hindu, Amrit Bazar Patrika, Kesari, Marathas started criticizing the government policies made by the Britishers. Now, here, my dear students, a need was felt. A need was felt there should be some organization, there should be some association who will take care of the needs of the people. With the blessing of A.O. Hume, Alan Octavian Hume, he inspired people to make an organization that would fight for the rights of the Indians. On 28th December 1885, the first session of Indian National Congress was held at Gokuldas Tejpal Sanskrit School in Mumbai. 72 delegates from different provinces of India participated in the session. Vomesh Chandra Banerjee, renowned lawyer from Kolkata, was the president of the session. In this session, they established Indian National Congress, and they wanted to put forth some demands through INC. One was increased proportion of Indians in the administration. That means more and more Indians should be involved in the administration. Reduction of military expenses by the Britishers. Such statements were made, or such statements were sent to the Britishers. Now, my dear students, they have put forth their demands. Now we will see what was the objective of Indian National Congress. It was very simple. They wanted to bring all the people under one umbrella, forgetting the difference in religion, race, caste, language, and geographical territories. And there should be feeling of oneness among the people, and there should be development of the country, were the prime objective of Indian National Congress. Now, my dear students, within Indian National Congress, there were two kinds of people. One was moderates, other one was extremists. Now, moderates, they believed in liberalism, freedom, equality, fraternity. Based on these values, they believed in these basic values, and they believed that we will take freedom but through constitutional means rather than using violence. We will plead, we will beg for freedom, and through constitutional method, if we will ask, British will give justice to our demands. Now, who were the leaders who were believing, or who were the moderates? Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Firoz Shah Mehta, Surendranath Banerjee were all the moderate leaders. Now, my dear students, in the session of Indian National Congress, different resolutions were put forward by them, such as to get the representation in the provincial legislature, jobs for educated Indians, cutting down the expenses on military, legislature and judiciary should be separated for safeguarding the legal rights of the Indians. And not only that, these demands were put forward by the moderates. But what has happened? These moderates, when they had their own idea of getting things done without entering into violence, there was one more group which were called as extremists. They said that by asking through constitutional means, we will not get freedom. By begging, by requesting, they are not going to give us freedom. In fact, they will divide us. And so there was a separate group of people who were known as extremists, like Lala Lajpat Rai, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Bipin Chandra Pal. They believed that we can bring awakening through violence by killing the Britishers, by forcing them to give us freedom. Earlier, the extremist leaders, for bringing political awakening, they used methods like newspapers, national festivals, national education. Kesari and Maratha were published. The newspapers were published by Lokmanya Tilak. They severely criticized the suppressive policy of the Britishers in Bengal. Amrit Bazar Patrika was the mouthpiece of extremist ideology. By forgetting the internal difference, people should come together and exchange their ideas. Common people should get inspiration for the contribution of national personalities with these objectives. Tilak started organizing Shiv Jayanti, Ganesh Utsav for the political reason. If people will come together, that the government will ban them. But religious reason, if people will come together, the government will not ban them, was the opinion of the extremists. Now when the extremists, especially Tilakji, when he was inspiring people, Tilakji was caught by the Britishers and he was sent to Mandalay prison. Tilak wrote Gita Rahasya, the core philosophy of Karma Yoga, and stressed that the people should always be in action. The extremist leaders established education institutions for creating a generation concerned by own language and tradition. The extremist leaders were in opinion that lakhs of people take part in freedom movement, challenge the British government by struggling against them. Only then will the success will be achieved. They should be made more severe, but they did not adopt any means of armed revolution, rather insisted in extensive public agitation. The moderates laid foundation of freedom movement and extremists carried forward the movement. In 1897, in Pune, there was epidemic of plague had spread on large scale. Hundreds of people died. An officer named Rand was appointed. The plague patients were searched out and oppressive measures were adopted. Instead of helping the Indians, Mr. Rand, he did injustice. So Chapekar brother assassinated Mr. Rand. The government tried to connect the relation of Lokmanya Tilak with this conspiracy. After being unsuccessful, government imprisoned Tilak with revenge. Now, my dear students, we will see in the next part how the government, the British government, tried to divide us in the name of religion. That we are going to see in the second part. Thank you for the patient hearing.